This finale didn't just miss the mark, it flat out betrayed everything Stranger Things used to stand for. After all the hype and build-up, this ending feels empty and frustrating, and honestly makes you question why you ever cared.
You find Vecna? We end this once and for all. Together.
And this is where the frustration really starts. Because Stranger Things was special once, genuinely special. Season 1 didn't rely on spectacle or bloated runtimes. It worked because the writing was tight, focused, and confident. Every scene mattered. Every character mattered. Nobody was just standing around waiting for their turn to deliver a dramatic speech. Each character had a clear role in the story. The kids weren't just kids, they were curious, scared, and resourceful. Joyce wasn't just a frantic mom, she was the emotional backbone of the mystery. Hopper wasn't comic relief, he was broken, haunted, and slowly piecing things together. Nothing felt wasted. And then there was the horror, real horror, quiet dread, long shadows, that feeling that something was wrong even when nothing was happening. The Upside Down was terrifying because we barely understood it. Eleven's powers were scary because they felt unstable and dangerous. The Demogorgon worked because it was mostly unseen. An idea more than a creature. The show trusted the audience. It didn't explain everything. It let your imagination do the heavy lifting, and that's why it stuck with you. Now compare that to later seasons, especially season 5, where mystery is replaced with melodrama, subtlety with speeches, and tension with endless emotional check-ins. That original magic, it wasn't lost by accident, it was slowly explained to death. And once you lose that, there's no getting it back.
This isn't like one of your campaigns. You don't get to write the ending. Not this time.
He's planning to end our world.
And here's where the cracks started showing, slowly at first, then all at once. After the early seasons, the show lost its tight grip on storytelling. Scenes began dragging, subplots piled up, and the cast ballooned to the point where half the characters felt like background noise. People stopped serving clear purposes and instead just existed so the show could check in on them. Horror took a backseat to soap opera drama, with long emotional conversations replacing tension and fear. And instead of building something new, the show leaned hard on self-referential nostalgia, callbacks, needle drops, and remember this moments, mistaking familiarity for death. It stopped trusting the story and started worshipping its own image. But the real tension killer? Plot armor. Steve was originally meant to die, and you can feel how different this show would be if they'd stuck to that. Instead, the writers became terrified of killing fan favorites, so danger stopped meaning anything. Every season introduced new characters clearly designed to be the one who dies, and by the time Eddie showed up, everyone knew the deal. His death was emotional, sure, but predictable. Imagine if that sacrifice belonged to Steve or even Dustin. That would have hit hard. In the final season, though, nobody meaningful dies at all. In a supposed endgame, that's not comforting, it's cowardly. And this is where the horror completely collapses. The show spent years establishing rules. Don't touch the vines, they're connected to the hive mind. The air itself can kill you. That stuff mattered. Now characters sprint through the Upside Down, shouting, stopping mid-mission to talk about their feelings like they're in a coffee shop. These are supposed to be life or death zones, yet nothing happened. No tension, no fear, no consequences. When a place designed to terrify becomes a backdrop for emotional chats, it stops feeling danger. At that point, the Upside Down might as well just be Hawkins with a blue filter slapped on it. Then there's the monsters, or what's left of them. Demogorgons barely exist anymore. The massive bat swarms teased earlier, completely forgotten. Monsters casually run past main characters, but suddenly become lethal when it's time to kill a random soldier. Attacks are slow, awkward, and almost polite. It's like the creatures are waiting for permission. The power scaling makes no sense, and once you notice it, every threat feels fake. And this season desperately needed a real law. Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler surviving served no purpose beyond safety padding. That dryer scene, pure deus ex machina. Killing the parents could have sparked real growth, forcing Mike and Nancy to mature fast, uniting the core group through genuine grief. Instead, the show chose comfort over impact, skipping emotional arcs that could have actually mattered. Stranger Things now mistakes scale for substance. The Mind Flayer's physical form looks cool, sure, but it does nothing and gets wiped out in minutes. Big epic introductions lead to nothing. The season was marketed as massive and explosive, yet none of it carries weight. Flash without consequence isn't epic, it's empty. And somehow all of this takes over 10 hours. Scenes that should have been cut are left to linger. Entire plot lines, like the California stuff, feel pointless in hindsight. This should have been a tight, relentless final movie, not a bloated binge designed to be consumed once and forgotten. There's no rewatch value here, just exhaustion. And then there's the emotional manipulation. Action constantly pauses so characters can unload their feelings in overlong monologues that kill momentum. These moments feel engineered for TikTok edits. Slow motion, swelling music, dramatic pauses. The soundtrack does all the emotional heavy lifting instead of the writing. It's style over authenticity every time, and once you notice it, the scenes stop feeling sincere. Some scenes don't just feel forced, they feel wrong. The Dustin and Steve fight comes out of nowhere, exists solely to break a wall and reveal a secret room, then immediately disappears. No lasting consequences, no real growth. Characters suddenly act dumb or aggressive just to move the plot along, and the second the goal is achieved, the conflict magically vanishes.
This is crazy. This is actually crazy. This is 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 crazy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you insane?
Going to come back. So you need to leave.
The Nancy Steve Jonathan subplot feels ripped straight from a bad teen drama. It goes nowhere, changes nothing, and wastes time. Jonathan, once a deeply emotional character, is reduced to a sideline stoner with no purpose. His meaningful bond with Will is completely ignored. At this point, the only genuine chemistry left is between Steve and Dustin, and even that feels underused. The claim that this was all planned from the start just doesn't hold up. Vecna clearly wasn't part of Season 1's vision. Retcons stack up every season, from suddenly existing walls in the Upside Down to forgotten rules about spores, vines, bats, and atmosphere. Even Kingdom Hearts level retcons work better than this. Here they don't expand the world, they shatter immersion. Here's the thing, Vecna was a good idea at first. A human villain tied directly to 11, that's solid, but the show couldn't stop itself from explaining him to death. Every mystery gets dissected, every motivation spelled out, until there's nothing scary left. His so-called master plan is a tangled mess of half retcons and shifting goals that barely make sense when you lay them out. Worse, he constantly spares enemies for no reason, letting obvious threats walk away again and again. For someone built up as this all-powerful force, Vecna spends most of the season looking hesitant, fearful, and weak. And after all that setup, there's no meaningful redemption, no tragic payoff, just a villain defanged by bad writing and... The more time we spend in Vecna's head, the less threatening he becomes. Overhumanizing him strips away the horror. His mind palace isn't scary. It's colorful, safe, almost boring. Max's entire arc inside his mind ends up contributing nothing meaningful to the final confrontation. And after all that buildup, 11 defeats Vecna with shocking ease anyway, making the whole mental deep dive feel like wasted time. This show is terrified of consequences. Hopper dies, then doesn't. Max dies, then doesn't. 11 dies, except maybe she didn't. The finale gives us Schrodinger's 11, somehow dead and alive at the same time, just vague enough to keep everyone arguing. It's the same cowardly move Marvel and The Walking Dead perfect. Pretend to take risks while undoing every single one. And somehow after all that buildup, the finale barely lasts 8 minutes. The so-called final battle ends almost as soon as it begins, with no meaningful injuries, no losses, nothing that actually costs the characters anything. Then the show pulls its worst trick, killing 11 and saving her at the same time. It's not bold, it's indecisive. The ending turns into a choose-your-own adventure where viewers pick the interpretation they like most because the writers clearly didn't commit to one themselves. There's no clarity, no final statement, just confusion disguised as death. At this point, it's obvious the story comes second. Everything is designed to stay perfectly neutral. No risks, no bold choices, nothing that might upset viewers. That way, nobody cancels their subscription. The finale reeks of spin-off bait, leaving doors open instead of closing them. Dialogue constantly repeats information, visuals spell out metaphors, and emotional beats are explained as if the audience can't follow along. It feels less like storytelling and more like content engineering. Stranger Things stopped being a story that demanded attention and became something designed to be consumed, clipped, shared, and forgotten because safe content keeps subscribers paying. That's the part that actually stings. Not the bad writing, not the fake deaths, the nostalgia. The flashbacks to early seasons don't just remind you of the character, they remind you of 2016 when this show came out of nowhere and took over everything. It felt fresh, exciting, earned. A lot of people didn't just watch Stranger Things, they connected to it. So when the final season keeps pointing backward instead of standing on its own, it hurts. Disappointment always cuts deeper than hatred, especially when it comes from something you once genuinely loved. Stranger Things didn't end in anger, it faded out in fear, afraid to commit, afraid to let go, afraid to matter. Watching something once brilliant slowly lose its nerve isn't rage-inducing, it's just sad. So what do you think? Did this finale work for you, or did it feel just as hollow? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe, there's more coming.